Alright, welcome to Old World Gaming. In this episode I am going to be painting the Squig hoppers, or the Boingrot Bounderz, depending on what you know them as. So these are the Boingrot Bounderz that came in Stormbringer episode 48. So bought a couple of these Stormbringer magazines yeah, so I could get a bunch of Squig hoppers. Obviously built them up in a previous video, which I'll probably put all these in a playlist so they're in one place for people to find them. Yeah, so the plan is to paint them today. I painted Walloper with his shiny one-hit wonder. Focusing on when, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago, maybe. Yeah, then put these guys together like a week and a half ago. Now let's get them painted. I mean, I've been occupied doing other things, which I haven't got around to them yet. But now the plan is to get them done. I'm a little bit intimidated by these. I'm not gonna lie, because they've just got loads of stuff on them. I don't want to spend ages on them, and I could easily, like, Walloper took 4 hours to paint, and when you compare him to like one of these guys, there's not much difference in terms of size, right? So they're basically the same size, and arguably these guys have got more detail on. They've all got like stuff on their bases like mushrooms and stalagmites. This one, well, two of them actually. I've got, where is it, over here? This has got like a Squig skull plus mushrooms. Just there's so much stuff going on, and they've all got armor and cloaks and that. Kind of makes me almost want to go and just paint some of these guys who've basically a Squig and a goblin. But there we are. Maybe, who knows? At some point I'll probably need some more Squig hoppers and they'll get painted. But yeah, so there we are. So I don't want to spend 4 hours on each one, which I could easily do. I want to try and paint these guys quickly, as quick as possible. So I may have to cut some corners. I did want to do all their armor yellow. I don't know if I will do all of their armor yellow. I've got to do it some colour. I don't know if I like the idea of silver, so maybe I will end up doing them yellow. I'll definitely be dry brushing all the black. I mean, I did on Walloper anyway. So yeah, and then we'll see how much I decide to paint up as armor, because I could leave this as, I think it's meant to be an armored hat, but I could leave it as black cloak hat and just paint his mask and horns or something. So I could do that. Not that cuts much of a corner. Yeah, and so for Walloper's red, and this probably wasn't even worth the effort, but I put like, I don't know, close to 10 layers on his Squig. It probably wasn't worth it at all. I know I stopped because I kind of wanted to go lighter. I'm going to try and put, well, I want to say 3 layers, but realistically it's already got a black layer. I kind of want to put Rhinox hide as a base layer, and then 3 layers, like a deep red, a mid red, and then a highlight. So I say 3 layers loosely, but it's definitely 5 layers, and plan on painting 4 and try and stop myself going highlights. So we dry brushing all of the black, which is basically just their cloaks, and maybe their lances I could leave black as well, and it'll probably look fine. So I just dry brush the whole thing grey. See, the whole thing, like Squig down doesn't need to be done, just the goblin and their equipment. So dry brush them all with a grey, and then maybe just pick out like the armour, and then they can be done. No, I need to do their rope. The armor and the ropes. That's probably enough to do them. The squigs, try and paint as fewer layers as possible. Try and get away with. Oh, I need to do the skin as well. Thankfully, there's not much skin showing, but there is some skin. Yeah, so the squigs, try and get away with just doing, I call it 3 layers, but it's definitely more than 3 layers. Don't know what to do for their gums. I feel like maybe a purple kind of colour for their gums. Teeth and horns are easy. And then all the stuff on the bases, I mean, it's just extra effort. I have to put in. I know I stuck all these stones on myself, but stones are easy. Like exploding puff balls. They've both got exploding puff balls, the same one. Mushrooms and skulls. More mushrooms. Mushrooms. I mean, I could paint all the mushrooms the same colour. And a stalagmite. Like, what colours? What should I paint a stalagmite? And it's out in the open, which is obviously a weird place. So maybe I have to paint it like a mushroom. Maybe I should paint it like a mushroom, even though it's like it's cracking. Maybe I could get away with painting like a mushroom. I'm feeling like a light blue, like I did on Grin Crack. So I did his mushroom. Maybe I just do all the mushrooms that kind of light blue. But then what colour do I do the spores coming out of it? I mean, I can do whatever colour I like, I guess. I was thinking like a white kind of smoky colour, but actually it's spores. And maybe I could do it black. Just dry brush do that as part of the black dry brush. We could do that. That would look alright. Okay. And then I don't know what colour. I mean, the mushrooms could be black. I'm just going to dry brush everything and then we'll go from there. And if I don't like them black, I can paint them a different colour. Alright, cool. That's a bit of a game plan. Yeah. We'll see how long this takes. Who knows? Who knows? I'm going to need to get some more black at some point. That's what happens from painting Night Goblins, I guess. Does it? Is it really? Probably not. I haven't actually used much black on the Night Goblins because they're sprayed black and then dry brushed with black and white mix to make a grey. Maybe my real problem is I don't have a grey. I don't know if you've worked that out by now, on account of me mixing greys every time. Is that too much white? No, it's probably about white. About right. I do have tissue over there. Now this brush is probably, I want a bigger brush to do my dry brushing, I think, maybe, normally. Let's try it on this bit down here and see how that looks. I don't know how happy I'll be with it staying black, but I really am trying to get out of spending ages on these guys. Like I say, I genuinely could spend a really long time painting them, and whilst they probably do deserve it, I've got other stuff I want to be doing. I don't want to just be spending ages painting the same things over and over again. I did that with the trolls. 2 trolls took me, I don't know, like, I think there's 9 hours of footage. It's either 7 hours of footage, or 9 hours of footage, and then I spent an extra 2 hours, which I didn't record, painting up, because one of the videos is me painting the scales on one of the trolls, and then I painted the scales on the other troll and didn't record that, because like I'd literally already spent 2 hours painting scales on a troll. No one was going to watch me paint the scales on the second troll, which are basically the same, because they are the same core model, just with different poses. I say poses, just slight differences. Alright, this brush is going to be fine. I don't know what colour I'm going to do this stalagmite, but if I paint it this colour, then I can leave it if I want to. I just had a sudden thought, it's like, squigs will be black. Black squigs. It could be a thing. They're not going to be black, they're definitely going to be red. But it's tempting. It could be nighttime. Just dry brush them. And then it's nighttime and we're done. How about that? You do that? I have heard of, I think it's slap chop, is it? Which is where you just dry brush the model all over and then put some contrast paints on it, something to that effect. That also is tempting with, you've got lots of stuff to paint. But I have not, I have no experience with it. I can't remember if I've even watched any YouTube videos on it. But I've certainly seen it mentioned like on Facebook, and I think I'm pretty sure I've seen videos come up on my feed for slap chop shenanigans. But I don't know if I've watched any. Maybe I should. Maybe that would be a legitimate way to get daunting stuff painted. But these are, I mean, I do like the way that's coming out. Gonna have to mix up some more in a sec because that is dry. Yeah, that guy had a lot less on him than I anticipated. Don't know why. I'm not really leaving these mushrooms black, but I'm on a roll now, so I might as well try brush them. Oops. Right, let's mix up another batch of grey. It really didn't last very long, but then I'm almost done, or half done, so it's fine really. And that's probably way too much. That's a very satisfying popping sound. I don't know how well emulated that was. That was my best attempt. Trying to work out how close I've managed to match that colour. It's about as good as I'm going to get. So much on this brush, and now just wiping it all off. It's called dry brushing for a reason, but I feel like I haven't got rid of enough. But it feels like such a waste getting rid of all. Well, here's what it is. So I discovered something very depressing about squig hoppers. I say depressing. Yeah, maybe. So essentially, in the games that I've played so far with squig hoppers and the bosses on squigs, that is way too much grey on that. Never mind. I've been running the bosses on squigs in the squig hopper unit. And I've been using them as a skirmishing unit. So they've got two orders. well, they've got formations, 2 formations that you can choose from, which is closed order or skirmishers. So I've been using them as skirmishers and they have been excellent. However, reading the skirmishers rules, looks like that's not a legal way to run them because of their base size. I will get the book out in a sec actually once I've finished this guy and check, but from what I recall, it looks like a skirmishing unit has to all have the same base size. Was that right? That's what it was? No, same type. I think, yeah, it's not the base size. I think it's the troop type. A skirmishing unit has to all be the same type. I think that's what it was. So these guys are light cavalry, I think. And the bosses on their giant cave squigs are monstrous cavalry. So, but I will just double check that in a minute. The only reason I discovered that is because my mate was lamenting that he couldn't have his hero on Pegasus in his Pegasus Knight unit because they've got different base size, and so I was like, oh really? I did not realise that. I looked it up, and yeah, from what I recall, I discovered when I looked it up that actually base size doesn't matter. It's the unit type that matters, which means that actually his guy on a Pegasus is perfectly fine to fly with his Pegasus Knights in skirmish formation. However, it does mean, since it's unit type, it means that the Squig guys on Squig cannot go with the Squig hoppers. Let's have a look. Skirmishers, here we go, perfect. That was very fluky. Blah blah blah. Characters joining skirmishers. Here we go. This is what we're after. Did I just knock that? Apologies. Right, what's it say? It says, characters may only join a unit of skirmishers if they are the same subcategory of troop type. For example, a character whose troop type is light cavalry could join a unit of skirmishers that are also light cavalry, but could not join a unit of skirmishers that are heavy cavalry. So, unit type, and let's just double check the unit types, but I am almost 100% sure. I feel like I am sure on account of being sad about it. That makes me feel very sure. But let's have a look. So, character mounts, giant cave squig, monstrous cavalry, and there's no way that squig hoppers are monstrous cavalry, wherever they may be. Squig herds, squig hopper mobs, light cavalry. So, yeah, there we go. However, they can take open order. So my plan is to put them in open order. So run them together as a unit in open order and see how they get on. Now, skirmishers are excellent because they've got 360 line of sight, can just move any direction they want. Open order is much more limited. They're basically just like a normal unit, except at the end of the move they can make a 90-degree pivot. Now, that pivot might be enough to save them and make them worth taking, but it might not. It might not. I can't say probably isn't. I mean, I don't know. So if that's the case, I don't know. I did run them in a game where they weren't in the same unit, and they were just independent, separate characters, and it sucks. They just didn't work well separately. So here's hoping that they work good in open order. because it will be quite sad if they don't. So once these guys are painted, I can test that out, I guess, and see how we get on. Right. What do I do next? Do I go red next, or I'm not I don't know what to do about inside their mouths. I can just paint brown. Yeah, let's just do brown. Brown everywhere. Brown, all of the brown. So we will go Rhinox hide basically over everything that isn't dry brushed. I realised actually I may end up needing to give these guys a minute to dry after I've painted Rhinox hide over them, because this is going to be, I'm planning to do it quite watery. How watery should I do it? Maybe not, maybe that's too watery. I don't know. Just paint a guy and see how we get on. But I need to also not get it on the goblin. Maybe we'll start with this, do the main bulk of it, and then come in close with another brush. Told you I wasn't going to paint these mushrooms black, even though I dry brushed them. Yeah, I'm hoping they don't suck in open order. I guess my plan will probably be, if they suck in open order, to increase the size of the unit, just have a big unit of squig hoppers, and I guess run the guys separately. I don't know now. They're yeah, it's a lot harder to coordinate, which it should be. I mean, goblins should not be great at coordination anyway, particularly if they're bouncing around on squigs. But in terms of being a player trying to win a game, it's a lot harder to coordinate squigs with random movements if they're not in the same unit and using the same movement. But I guess that's a given, really. But they would have the benefit of being skirmishers. I don't know how much I need the skirmish benefit. What benefit does it really give me? It gives them 360 line of sight. They can travel any direction they like. They don't have to wheel. But they can pivot. I guess the problem with pivoting at the end of your movement is you have to be facing, you have to know what direction you want to be facing. And then your opponent knows where you're going, and they can just move out of the way. So yeah, so open order, yeah, is a real handicap. But we'll try it and see, and then we'll just cry softly. If we hate it. So yeah, there we go. Anyway, that was my sad little bit of news. I don't know what to do about this. stalagmite. I've got some brown on it. Yeah, I don't know what colour to paint it. I mean, black is probably not great. I mean, I could paint it grey like actual stone. So maybe I'll do that. See, the trouble with doing this is I can just get paint all over my desk. Which I've been trying not to, because it just splatters everywhere. This loose colour. Wet paint. I think that's all of that. Now, the other problem is I'm getting little bits of sand in it, which are going to end up on the squigs and will annoy me. But I guess they can just be spots. Squigs have got spots, right? Wow, this squig's got a whole bunch of eyes. I did enjoy running 2 war bosses and giant squigs in a year with my squig hoppers. They were excellent, but yeah, they were probably too excellent. Just trying to think if... So, the game where they did particularly well, I probably would have been okay using them as open order, because they didn't do much. Oh no, actually there was one turn where they weren't in range to do a charge, and so I moved to kind of a flank. Now, if you're having to wheel to do that, then I wouldn't have been able to get as far, so I might not have been able to outflank the unit, and yeah, may have received a charge. So yeah, it's certainly going to be trickier to use them. I do like skirmish, but there we are. So I had a game with my son yesterday. I took a whole bunch of photos, and I'll be making a video battle report of it, which will probably go up before this, so actually you may well see it. But I haven't made the video yet. I just have the video, the photos ready to go. But it was it was a good fun game. He absolutely destroyed me, so spoiler alert. Although, like I say, it will have gone up before this one, so maybe you know. Yeah, he completely destroyed me. All I had left at the end of the game was a unit of like 5 out of 20 spearmen running away, and a mortar that was about to get destroyed by a pillar of fire and a wizard with fireball. so it wasn't going to last very long anyway. And that was his turn 4, or end of my turn 3. I conceded because he absolutely obliterated me. And he took a single casualty, one single casualty, a hand gunner that I killed with a cannon. Those handgunners were only 1 deep, so I literally could only kill 1 guy. So yeah, it was a tough game. He loved it. He enjoyed his Pillar of Fire, which I've made a whole bunch of episodes making a Pillar of Fire, which I'm pretty pleased with how it came out, and looks good for the photos as well, particularly much better than a blast template. So yeah, I think that was worth it. I think it was extra worth it because I'm taking photos of our games and making battle reports of it. If I wasn't doing that, it'd still be very cool, but like would have less value, a little bit less value. However, it does look very cool on the battlefield, and it was just fun to do actually. So I don't think I regret it. I think I'd do it again. Hashtag no regrets, that's a thing, right? But I feel like you normally say no regrets on something which someone might think you've regretted, but I don't. But yeah, if you want to make a Pillar of Fire for your game, so you don't have to use just use a blast template, and it actually looks cool, check out the videos. Something we did in the first game that we played was we left the blast template. So when we were using blast template, we left it on units. But my mate pointed out that actually it says if it doesn't have enough movement to take it over, because the Pillar of Fire is a vortex that moves around every turn. So if a moving vortex doesn't have enough movement, or ends on a unit, it carries on moving till it's off the unit. So so that makes it much easier, because when I first was thinking about how to use it, I was imagining balancing it on top of units, and its center of gravity isn't in the most optimum of places, let's put it that way, and it can topple over quite easy. It's stable enough on flat ground, but as soon as it's not flat, it will definitely fall over. Finding out that actually it doesn't have to balance on a unit, because it just moves through or to the other side of a unit, makes it much better. However, it has the added effect of if your units are too close to each other, it can move over a unit and then contact another unit and have to keep going. So in our game, it hit a fleeing handgunner unit, moved over that unit because it had enough movement to get to the unit, and then would have been on top of the unit. So I had to finish moving over the unit. Behind them was another handgunner from another unit that was running away, which it then moved over and then contacted my cannon. And so it managed to touch three units and killed everything apart from one handgunner, not the one who was on his own, but one of the bigger unit. And considering it only gets D3 plus 3 hits, I can't remember what strength he has. Strength, they're only strength 3. I'm pretty sure they're only strength 3. D3 plus 3, strength 3 hits. he managed to roll 6 hits against the cannon, and I was like, but you're only wounding it on 6s, so you can wound it, but you probably only like get 1 wound on it. He rolled 4 6s and killed the cannon, and I was just like, what? That's so fluky. But yeah, so that's how my game went. The turn 1, he destroyed a unit of knights. Not quite the way I thought they were going to get destroyed, in fairness. So he made me deploy first, which meant he could line up his Hellblaster volley gun directly opposite my knights. There was nothing I could do about it because I had less units than him, so he just kept that last and waited for me. I put my knights down as the final thing, but because he had more units than me, he just kept his Hellblaster volley gun to last and then just plonked it directly opposite them. And then I was like, well, maybe if I get first turn, I'll be all right. And because I deployed first, I was like, I get +1. But he promptly rolled a 6 for first turn. I rolled a 3, so I wasn't going first anyway. So yeah, he more or less immediately shot the knights with his Hellblaster volley gun, but only managed to kill 1. However, his wizard fireballed them and killed 4 with a fireball. And he only got 8 wounds. He got 11 hits, 8 wounds, and then I failed 4 armor saves, even though I've got a 3+. So yeah, that killed 5 of my unit. There were 9 in the unit, including the character, and they fled directly off the table. And it was like turn 1. That was how that game was going to go, and it just basically went like that all game. So it just died in droves. Fireball is really, really good. Very, very good. Most spells have been nerfed quite considerably, but Fireball's basically the same as it's always been. So yeah, that might be a bit of an oversight. It certainly makes the Ruby Ring of Ruin, like everybody says Ruby Ring of Ruin is awesome, and it is, and it's probably because Fireball should be D6 strength 4 hits. It's just too good. I think it's too good. And I don't mind particularly. I take Fireball, but yeah, it probably is too powerful. D6 strength 4 hits is still really good, or even like D3+3 if you want a relatively consistent Fireball. D3+3 would be good. Strength 4 hits. I'd take that. So it wouldn't be broken, and it would still be worth taking. So yeah, there we go. That would be my recommendation. If it gets rewritten, D3+3 strength 4 hits, I think would be fine for Fireball. You can still do a decent amount of damage, but you're not wiping entire units out in one turn. And I think it would be on par with other spells again. There we go. Right, I'm going to need to give these guys a few minutes to dry. So I'll pause that there and come back to them in a minute. Alright, they should be just about dry now. So I think I'll do a similar thing, but with a dark red now. Do I use... That's what I love about plastic miniatures, they're metal ones. I'd be looking for chips. No, I'm gonna make loads of mess if I try and use this brush. So I have to be a small brush, just means it's gonna take a while. Okay, fine. And do I go up from brown or do I go up from black? Maybe from brown. Alright, there we go. That's the plan. rotate. So if we go, that's probably way too much brown now. Never mind. Have I opened this pot yet? I can't remember if I've painted anything red since I bought the pot. Okay, I have. Oh yes, I opened it for the pillar of flame and then didn't use it. Okay, let's get some red out. Yeah, I've got way too much brown, I think. Way too much brown. Unless I need more red, of course. Yeah, that's probably the colour red that I want to go for. I feel like that will give me a good shade, but I think I need to mix some more up. Look at that, instantly smearing brown on in my brand new shiny red. Okay. Yeah, I think that's probably what I need. I should wash my brush really, but I don't know. I'll be right until I get to some detail areas. Yeah, I think this. So if I'm going for this red as the main red, this will do in the recesses probably. Yeah, it's definitely dark enough. Probably dark enough. Yeah, I'll do. I can always, I don't know, put some like shade on it if I don't like it. I do need to try like experiment more with the new Games Workshop paints. I haven't tried any, well, I was going to say inks and washes. I don't even know if those are things anymore, but they have some sort of thing that fills in those gaps. Is that shades? Are they what they call them these days? I don't know. I should look them up, find out. Get back on knowing what's what. I'm still out of touch in that area. I'm not used to going for such a stark contrast, sort of from the colour, the dark brown underneath, to straight to something like this. Normally I would shade up from there like I did on. I mean, this colours might even be lighter than the top colour that I did on there. No, not quite. But it just feels really, really light to go to. But I think it will be fine. It's just not an approach that I have spent much time using. I think I probably should water this down a little bit more. But maybe it's fine. But I think for these guys, if I'm going to get them painted in a reasonable amount of time, I've got to be brutal and not pander around, because I'm never going to get them done otherwise. And I'm sure these will be fine. And when I say I'm sure they'll be fine, I'm not sure they'll be fine, but this is as good as I'm going to do them, I think. Like, I'm not going to redo them. I can always, like I say, I can always put some sort of shading on them, whether it's like Angrex Earthshade or something. That's the only ink type paint that I have, which is why I'm mentioning that one. Now I think I've made it too runny. The irony. It was probably fine how it was. There we go. Might be alright still. That's good, because I don't want to have to mix any more up. However, it doesn't matter if they are slightly different shades between my squigs, so I'll go over it. Squigs can be slightly different colours, can't they? I'm sure. I mean, squigs can be whatever colours you want. My squigs that I painted for my Wartime Warband are all different colours. I've got white and blue and purple and green, orange. I've probably got a red squig. But I've got 5 or 6 squigs in my Wartime Warband that I painted. And they were literally painted when Wartime came out. Or when they made the Orc and Goblin Warband for it, which wasn't straight away. They were not a White Dwarf expansion, a Fanatic expansion, I think. Was it Fanatic at the time? No, Town Crier. So that would have been... I don't know when it came out. Either 99 or 2000-ish. So that's like 24 years ago, 25 years ago. So I haven't painted any squigs, well, apart from Walloper's Cave Squig, in 25 years. I feel like that's not quite true. Oh, here's one of them. And this guy never got his base done. Here we go. So this is a squig I painted. So you can see he got dry brushed. Dry brushed with greens, and then for some weird reason, I painted the veins blue and pink. They had tails. Gave him a red squiggly tail in his teeth. I was well chuffed with him at the time. I mean, he's alright, I guess. But yeah, there we are. I've never painted his base. So that guy was done, like I say, about 25 years ago. I do kind of like having dark in the recesses, but that's for if you've got more time to faff around than I plan on having for these guys, or that I want to spend on these guys. These are essentially rank and file troops, so they can have a bit less time spent on them than characters. They're a bit above rank and file, but they're not character level in terms of how committed I am to spending time on them. I want them to look beautiful, but I don't want to spend the time it takes to make stuff look beautiful on them. So they will look passable, and I'm content with that. They look much better than the stuff I've been speed painting for my Empire army, which isn't passable because I've run out of time before I can paint like the actual war machine and put any decent stuff on them. I guess it is passable. These will look loads better than those, so they'll be better than passable then. I think these will look alright, but they won't look beautiful. They'll just look alright. Okay, so there's the first squig with his base red done. Alright, on to the second. Takes a lot longer than using the Mega Brush, but I need to be a bit neater than I could do with the Mega Brush, sadly. I kind of want to do a series of battle reports recreating all of the historical narratives that you get with it. So for each battle report, each scenario, you get so like open battle and meeting engagement and breakpoint and those kind of things. It gives you the rules for how to play, but it also gives you like the historical a historical narrative of a time when this happened in the Warhammer world, and what to put in your armies if you want to recreate it. I think it'd be cool to do that. Trouble is having enough painted stuff for all the armies to manage it. We sort of went down that route for the game that we did yesterday, but not quite. We definitely broke the rules of the scenario. Not the scenario. Well, yes, the scenario too, but of the narrative. So, like it said, don't take wizards. Don't take. Did it say don't take cavalry? I can't remember. Cavalry, war machine, something like that. And we took all of those things. And didn't take a witch hunter who was meant to be leading one of the armies. Took a priest instead to represent him. Yeah. But I think, for the most part, we could do most of the scenarios with their kind of narrative that comes with them. Would need to get a witch hunter, because my son doesn't have one of those. Well, I don't have one of those. Neither of us have a witch hunter. Is that true? I did have a witch hunter warband in a box from Wartime, but I might have sold it on eBay. I think I did. I think the only warband that I kept in a box might have been an undead one. Other than that, I think I got rid of the others. I don't know. No, I don't think we've got a witch hunter. Would be quite cool to have a witch hunter for Warhammer Quest though. Maybe I should get a witch hunter. Oh, I've got a game of Warhammer Quest tomorrow. Very exciting. So we played. I introduced a couple of my friends to Warhammer Quest. Would have been before Christmas? I can't remember when it was. But anyway, it was a few months back. Whether it was this side of Christmas or the other side. I can't quite recall. I feel like actually it might have been just after Christmas. I don't know. Maybe. Yeah, maybe it was. Either way, yeah, we had our first game, my son and a couple of mates, and they really enjoyed it. And we've got our next game tomorrow. So none of us leveled up. And the first room that we found was the objective room. Oh, maybe I could do a battle report on a Warhammer Quest game. It would require taking photos, and also the miniatures aren't painted. I did think about painting the miniatures. I said the miniatures, just the characters, but we could. I do have painted characters we could use. Oops. Painted models we could use. What have we got? We've just got the basic. Maybe I will. Maybe we can use some of the ones. So I've got dwarves, so we can find a dwarf. Barbarians. Oh, wow. I happen to have Felix Jagger. Is that how you pronounce his name? Jaeger? Whatever it is. However you pronounce his name. Go check on Felix. That Felix, he would make a nice, not quite barbarian, but he would certainly play the part, I think. I don't have any barbarians. Do I have any barbarians? The closest I can think of was Norse. I don't have any Norse painted or Chaos Marauders painted. Do I have any Chaos Marauders painted? No. So that would be the closest to a barbarian, I think, that I would have. No, I definitely don't have any painted. No, I'm questioning myself. I feel like I have painted them before, but maybe it was for the store many years ago. So I don't think I've got any of my own painted. Yeah, so Felix is probably the closest. Oh, wait. My son's got Valton painted. Now he looks like a barbarian. So that could be an option. But maybe Felix is a better option. I can't remember who the barbarian was. Oh yeah, I do remember. It wasn't me. What was I? I was the dwarf. My son was the wizard. Not gonna lie, I do like being a wizard. And then the other guys were the elf ranger and barbarian. So yeah, I've got some nicely painted wood elves. So use a wood elf. I think we could use Felix as the barbarian. I can use a dwarf Thane as the dwarf, and then a wizard. Wizard. Don't have any human wizards, but I do have a very nice looking dark elf wizard. I used the elf wizard from Mordheim. Painted him up as a dark elf. I had a warlock in my, as a hired sword in my dwarf Mordheim army that I used a classic high elf wizard, the one kind of making like the rock out sign, with a sword, and then chopped his head off and put a Catachan head on it. That was, like I say, 25 years ago when I was a kid. That's what you do. You convert stuff. Because I needed a human wizard, and I don't know how I ended up with that guy, but I did. Turned him into a Catachan. No, not a Catachan, a human warlock. For my dwarf warband as a hired sword. I mean, these are desperate dwarves in Mordheim. They're dwarven treasure hunters. All sense of tradition goes out the window when you're battling for your lives in Mordheim. When there's treasure at stake, then you'll do what you can. Even dwarves will do what they can to get that treasure, to win by any means. At least that's what I'm saying. They also had I've mentioned this before, they had an ogre bodyguard. They hired an ogre hired sword. And I used in the new releases for orcs and goblins, there was that unit of 5 classic ogres, and I used the standard bearer from that unit. I'd cut the top of the standard off and to turn it into a quarterstaff, just because I like the model really. Called him Morglum. Can't remember what I called my warlock. Don't know how I remember what I called the ogre, to be honest. Clearly I was inspired by Morglum Neck Snapper, but don't tell anybody else that. So yeah, we could do a fully painted game of Warhammer Quest tomorrow. I might have to do a bit of scheming. So we played with just basically we played out of the box. All of the stuff. I haven't painted anything in the box. Maybe I'll do that at some point. Who knows? But I have an Orc and Goblin army in kind of air quotes, which really is made up of enough bad guys to fight an Orc and Goblin themed quest. So I basically took all of the took the charts that come in the Warhammer Quest book, lifted all of the Orc and Goblin results out of them, and then made them into charts that are specific to Orcs and Goblins, and then just did an Excel spreadsheet basically for that, and worked out what the maximum number of models I'd need for the games, and then just bought them. I did that with all of the races, all of the bad guy races, apart from Chaos Dwarves. Don't know why I didn't do it with Chaos Dwarves. But yeah, I did it with everything else. Undead. So the undead that I have are all were all bought for Warhammer Quest, but there is probably enough to make an army of them. Same for Skaven. All of my Skaven were bought for Warhammer Quest. Again, I can make an army out of them. You can roll up like 10 Jezzails in Warhammer Quest as bad guys. So I've got like 10 actual Jezzails. I don't think you'd even use that many in a game of Warhammer. I don't think I've ever seen anyone run more than 3. But there we go. So I've got 10. Look, I needed to make sure I could roll them. And, if they rolled, I needed to make sure I had them. So there we go. But yeah, so so you might have seen on one of my videos, I've got the Marauder Giant. The only reason I bought him was for Warhammer Quest. I'm really glad I did buy him, because he's such a nice model, and he's going to be really expensive now. And I could get him a lot cheaper when I was staff. Particularly 20 years ago. But yeah, so there we go. So, all that to say, I've got Warhammer Quest game tomorrow, and I'm really excited about it, and I can probably do it with all painted miniatures if I'm I've even got some stone trolls painted now, but they don't quite fit the theme. But then neither do the heroes that we're going to use, because they'll all be based ramshackle, because they're not a coherent set. So my Orc and Goblin army, again air quotes, are all based on like looking like they're indoors, and on tiles. Well, some of them on tiles, gravel and tiles, a mixture of like gravel and tiles. So there, don't know why I said that. Because I was thinking about how it's all going to look together. It's because I I mentioned my stone trolls, which obviously I've done for my Night Goblin army recently, but they're based like this. So they look very much like they're outdoors. But I do have, I painted up a unit of common trolls. Common trolls, is that what they're called? Just trolls. Yeah, I guess common trolls for my Warhammer quest. They were in fact, they're the ones that are being released again. So one from the Battle for Skull Pass. Battle for Skull Pass? Battle of Skull Pass? What's it say? Battle for Skull Pass. I've got it down there. It's on the floor next to me. I got way too much random stuff on the floor beneath my desk. So here's something I noticed. I'm getting distracted right now, but I'm going to show you. So these, and this is only because I've got stuff lying on the floor next to me. So you see these markings around the edge of the book? I was looking at them thinking, no, it wasn't this one I was looking at. I was looking at this, just because it was on the floor, and it caught my eye. I was just looking at it, I was like, oh, I feel like I've seen these markings somewhere recently, and they're the same ones. So this is the old 6th edition book, and they've lifted the border around the edge, and it's exactly the same border, just slightly recolored. That's on this. There you go. Actually, exactly the same border. So the 6th edition border is now on the old world. There you go. Random little tidbit for you. Don't know how many people have noticed that. I don't know how many people have had the two books side by side to notice it. I'm sure there's a whole bunch of people who do. In fact, there's probably more than you'd imagine. Collectors have put them on their shelves next to each other and just been like, oh, wait a minute, they're the same. Mine aren't on shelves. Mine are literally scattered all over the floor. Because they're in constant use, you see, that's why. I don't have any shelves in here. Maybe I should do that. Maybe I should have shelves in here. Yeah, oh, a nice bookcase for all my army books and white dwarves and stuff like that. That would be quite good to do that. Great idea. I think that's meant to be like skull. That's where that scar is, and underneath. I don't know how well you can see that. There's meant to be like that's just this bare skull showing through. That's how it looks. So that's how I'll paint it. Or how I'll try and paint it anyway. Okay, that's that done. I'm gonna have to mix up a new batch in a minute. Just a little bit sad, but I'll get over it. Yeah, this colour, now that it's dry on this guy, when I say dry, it's not dry underneath, but compared to this guy, it's gone a lot darker, and that's good. I'm really pleased about that. That's kind of what I'd hoped it would be. It looks way darker on camera, actually, than it does in real life. But yeah, so can you see underneath it's a bit brighter where it's wet, and on top it's darker. So yeah, that's good. I'm pleased, very pleased with that, actually, because I was worried that it was going to be too light. Oh, I picked another one up already. Right. This one just got superseded. Supersede. It's like a plant. That was a really bad joke. So bad, it may not have even sounded like a joke. But yeah, Warhammer Quest. Looking forward. I still need to record that battle report from the game yesterday. I'll get it done. What's stopping me from getting it done? Okay, so the way that I did the battle report last time, I think it worked, so I'll do it again, is I used an iPhone. This that I'm recording on right now is an iPhone, to take the photos, obviously. And then in the photo app on desktop, it has a slideshow mode that you can play through the photos. So that's what I used last time, and I quite liked it. It worked really well. I just had to do a little bit of prep work to get all the photos looking how I wanted to look, get them in order, and then I'll basically just play the slideshow and talk through it. So that feels like the most optimum way to do that. Like I say, I think it worked well last time. However, in order to do that, it has to do some additional downloading off the internets. And at the moment, I am uploading the speed painting video for my Empire. It's taken a really long time. I think, when did I start uploading that? Oh, you know what? Will it tell me on here when I saved it? Where is it? I'm looking on my computer. Here we go. When did I make this? Today, about 4:30 I made it. It is now 9:30, so that's 5 hours ago. I probably started uploading it straight away. Clearly I have a really, really bad upload speed because it is currently 38% uploaded. So yeah, there we go. So this is the pain that I feel at the moment is my internet's just so bad. However, I'm not willing to do anything about that because I'm not making any money on YouTube at the moment, and I don't know if I ever will. I don't know what to expect really. I don't even know why I'm. Do I care about being monetized? I don't know. I mean, it's just an objective. It's like when you play a game, you've got certain objectives to hit, and this seems to be like the next objective on YouTube, on the analytics. It shows you, you just need to do this many. So it says you need 4,000 watch hours, which is quite a few. So you need 4,000 watch hours and 1,000 subscribers before you can make any money on YouTube. So I have 437 subscribers. So we're just under halfway there. And then watch hours is about 1,500. So we're just over a third of the way there. So actually, not bad. That's 3 months. And in theory, it's only going to get, it's going to ramp up. This is my theory anyway. It's going to ramp up because of all of the content that I've already uploaded will still get watched. So I don't have to, whereas when I started, obviously there's no content. So as I'm uploading stuff, that's all there is to watch. Now, it's not just my existing, it's not just my new content that's going towards those hours, it's also the existing content. So in theory, it should get quicker. So maybe in another 3 months, I'll have hit those goals. And who knows, then I might decide to do something about my internet. Depends if I can be bothered. I don't know if I need to be making money via YouTube. I mainly was just doing this because people were asking me how I was doing stuff when I was posting photos. And it just seemed like a fun thing to do, I guess. So, yeah, who knows. But in the meantime, until I do anything about it, it takes hours and hours for my videos to get uploaded, which is why I wanted to do live streams, you see, because then they're instantly online. But because my internet speed is so bad, I can only do live streams at standard definition instead of high definition, and that is rubbish for painting videos because you can't see any detail, or you can't see good enough detail to make it worthwhile. So could do other videos that don't need high def as live, and then they could just be recorded straight onto YouTube. I mean, maybe the battle report. Maybe I could do the battle report as a live one, not because I particularly want to do it live necessarily, but because it records straight up to the YouTubes without having to faff around. But it's not so bad actually doing the battle report ones. So I record the battle report straight onto my laptop because the photos have already done all their downloading and uploading and whatnot between my phone and my laptop. So that kind of pain's already happened. And sometimes it is a pain. It does take a while, but there's not really anything I can do about that because photos. I'm just putting this on here because I've got loads on my brush and I need not loads on my brush to get into the gaps on the other guy. So why waste the paint? Okay, there we go. Oh, picked him up by his wet leg. An idiot. Okay. Paint over the bits that I smeared. Not there's much smearing to be done. It's not like it was anything particularly interesting was painted on it, apart from his skin. Okay, back to this guy. Yeah, I think I'm actually feeling a bit better about these now that I don't think they're going to take forever to paint with just my couple of layers on them. So that's good. That makes me feel so much better. But yeah, so what could I do as live videos then? Like I say, I could do the battle report. That's not too much of an issue. In fact, the only thing that I really need to do as live videos is when I'm using my phone to record them, because then they can go straight from my phone to YouTube. That would be the ideal, because anything that's recorded on my laptop, which is basically anything while I'm not building or painting stuff, isn't too much of a problem because I can record it and then just leave it uploading overnight, and that's fine. It's when I have to wait for so the painting the cannon, I recorded that yesterday morning on my phone, then had to wait for it to upload from my phone to the internet. So that took, I don't know, I left that going overnight, I don't know how long it took really. Then I had to download it onto my laptop. And yeah, so the reason I have to do that, I can't just connect it and rip it straight from my phone onto my laptop via a USB cable or something, is because it's a work phone and a work laptop, and they've blocked you connecting, or blocked, yeah, they're blocked plugging stuff into the laptop to transfer data between, which is fine, I get it. So yeah, so I have to go the long way, download and upload and download. So there we go. Here's what it is. Again, I ended up making a decent amount of money on YouTube just by my own equipment. Do that instead. or get faster internet, which is also an option. That's probably a cheaper option. But yeah, the files are pretty large, particularly when they're like 4-hour videos. Yeah. I don't know, have I got any that I've uploaded recently? I have to keep deleting them off my computer because they just take up so much space. What have I got that is long? No, I've deleted most of them. So, I don't know. I don't know how long that one is. That one's okay. So here we go. Painting the pillar of fire, which as they go did not take all that long. So that was an hour and a half, just over an hour and a half, 1 hour 37, compared to like painting squigs, which are like 4-hour videos. That's an hour and a half, and it's 14 gigabytes. So no wonder it takes ages to upload to the internet. So that's a lot of gigabytes. It feels like that's a lot of gigabytes. But then, you know what? I've been out of the loop for how long stuff takes for a very long time. I remember using my modem, my parents' modem, back in the day. And it'd take like 20 minutes to download a 3 megabyte song off the internet. So I don't really have a frame of reference for how long stuff should take these days, because I've not really spent any time noticing how long it takes to upload and download stuff. Because you don't tend to download stuff these days. I don't. You stream stuff, right? So I don't look at upload and download speeds, or certainly haven't done for this. I haven't actually looked at my upload or download speeds on my internet. Probably should do that. Not doing it right now. But yeah, so that's a 14 gigabyte file. I don't know how much. Well, that's an hour and a half, so 2 of those would be like a 30 gigabyte file, and that's 3 hours. What did I say, 30 gigabytes? Oh, so it's about 10 gigabytes an hour then, I guess. Yeah, it's about 10 gigabytes an hour. So 40 gigabytes, this. Well, I say this. I don't know how long this video is going to take. I don't know if I'm even going to get these guys painted in this, finished, fully painted in this video. But I feel like I'm going to make decent progress. If they're not finished, they'll be quite far along. I think probably the bit that's going to take the next most amount of time. So obviously this skin is going to take the most amount of time. I don't know if it will take the most, actually. So the other part of these guys that's going to take a long time is the armor. If I do the armor yellow, which I'm still planning on doing, that's going to take the longest, I reckon, or be on par with this skin, the squig skin, just because there's a lot of squig skin, whereas the armor is more intricate. And painting yellow in general is just, is it hard work? I don't know. Maybe it's just me painting in general that's hard work. But yeah, so I think the armour is going to take a decent amount of time. This is the last one. Good, because I'm almost out of my mix. Oh, I can hear it started raining outside. If I can hear it, that means it's fairly heavy. Oh, happy Easter, everyone. It's Easter today. It's almost the end of the day, but it is Easter. Oh, now I want to paint squigs looking like Easter eggs. I'm definitely not painting these guys looking like Easter eggs, but it certainly popped into my head just then. Yeah, see, the benefit of having a live, like doing this live, is I could at least get some people sending me chats and interacting with people. So that's the good thing about doing live ones, because there's only so much random nonsense that I can spout before I run out and just sit here in silence, and that's not particularly interesting for anyone, just me sitting in silence. I love the fact that I'm making an assumption there that me and my random ramblings is actually interesting to anyone. But there we go. Who knows, maybe you just come for the painting, which is what I did it for, and then put it on like fast speed. That's the thing on YouTube, right? I've never watched anything on fast speed, but I feel like you can put stuff at least 2 times speed on YouTube. So I hear. But like I say, I've never done that. But I'm assuming it's a thing. And I won't begrudge anyone for doing that. Even if it's mega fast speed. I did make a time lapse of all my troll videos put together. I don't know I can't remember how long it took. But a lot less than 9 hours. Oh no, I can hear my laptop whirring up the fan. I wonder why that's what it's doing. I'm not asking it to do anything in the background, so maybe it's downloading some updates or something. Disappointing. Can't see I'm busy uploading a video. Right, there we go. That's all of these guys red painted. Very good. So that was probably the most arduous process we're going to have, I think. Everything else from here on out is relatively plain sailing. Oops, don't mind me, just knocking everything about. Right, so this next layer then, he's not quite dry, but he almost is. But he's not quite. So maybe I'll give him a minute to dry and then paint the next layer. I could do their bases while I wait. Let's do that. How am I likely to get more paint on their bases? Like this. And it's got that skull. Don't know what colour to paint that skull. Well, I mean bone colour obviously. But what's the next colour I should paint on the skull? Maybe bestial brown. Bestial brown? It's not bestial anymore. Warm foam brown. But that is bestial brown, isn't it, essentially? Or no, maybe I should use the graveyard. That's not graveyard earth. Baneblade brown. You can tell what age of paints I will mainly use to. And do I do that before? I probably should paint the skull before I paint the sand. Don't know. Yeah, I feel like I probably am going to make a mess with like the mushrooms and stuff. Am I? Maybe it's fine. Oh, did I just put my fingers all over wet paint again? Right, yeah, let's do rather than pausing it, I'm just going to do the bases in Mournfang Brown, not Bestial Brown. But if you've got Bestial Brown, I'm sure you could use that. I used to use snakebite leather actually on my old ones. But I don't know if that's a paint anymore. Well, I know it's not a paint anymore. They got rid of all of the old names. So I don't know what the replacement is these days. That's what I meant really. What replaced snakebite leather, if anything? I feel like my brush is too wet. I already have tissue out from when I was dry brushing you. I was literally just about to have the same conversation I just had. I was like, oh, should I paint this guy Bestial Brown? But no, we're going for not Graveyard Earth. The one that's called, whatever it's called these days, Baneblade Brown. Baneblade Brown. Why is it called Baneblade Brown? I guess. Because Cadians have their Baneblades painted that colour, don't they? Classic Cadians, because Cadians are the only Imperial Guard that exist. I've got Steel Legion, and even then I painted my Steel Legion green. The only reason I did a Steel Legion army is because I wanted lots of tanks, and at the time Steel Legion all had to have chimeras for every unit because they were the Steel Legion, and everything was in tanks. So that's why I did a Steel Legion army, because I just basically wanted lots of tanks. So I've got lots of tanks, lots and lots of tanks. But I never really played a huge amount of 40k. I mean, I guess I played, when I worked at the store, I played 40k with everyone else. But I've always really been a fantasy fan. Fantasy was my first introduction to the hobby. I don't know if that's strictly true, actually. I remember going over to a mate's house when I was, I don't know, like 8 or 9. And we played what must have been Warhammer Quest. Absolutely must have been. Yeah, I recognise it was Warhammer Quest. 100% Warhammer Quest, except it wasn't Warhammer Quest because we were like 9. He just made a maze of Jenga blocks. Obviously I didn't know what was going on, but he made like a maze of Jenga blocks and put treasure cards at like the end of each of those corridors, and I don't even know how we played it, but I vaguely recollect there being like zombies and vampires. But I'm dredging up a really old memory here now. Yeah, I don't really remember much else, but I just remember like vampire type things, skeletons and zombies and stuff. We must have had some sort of warriors, but I can't remember them. The only things I remember are Jenga blocks, the treasure cards, and the undead. That is it. But it was a pseudo Warhammer Quest. It was definitely Warhammer Quest stuff we were playing with. It was probably his brother's stuff, and whether or not he was allowed it, who knows. But there we are. That's what you do when you're 9. older brother's stuff. Play games with them. Yes, I was explaining my introduction to Warhammer, and that was it. And then, a number of years later, the guy who became my best mate, who lived next door to me, got a pack of Bretonnian archers, and a pack of high elves, which came with 4 high elf archers and 4 high elf spearmen. So this is 5th edition time. So this was about 96, 97. So he got 8 Bretonnian bowmen and 4 high elf spearmen and 4 high elf archers. And I remembered my Warhammer Quest games. It was like, so you play a game with them, because he didn't know what they were. His parents just got them randomly one time for him, as they all want to do. I was like, you can play a game where you shoot each other and stuff like that. But I had no idea with dice, and we just kind of hid them behind. Well, we played in his garage, and just on the floor, hid them behind shoe boxes and stuff like that. And was like, oh, my guy can see yours. He shoots him and he's dead. That was it. We just poked him around the corner. It's like, oh, you can see him. He shot him and he's dead. That was the extent of our understanding of the game. And it was literally me saying that. And then he got the 5th edition box set, and so we learnt the rules from there. We had no one teaching us how to play. We didn't know that Games Workshop stores existed, so we were just kind of making it up with the rule books in hand and muddling along. And I bought. So there was so we're in a town, and there was a random model store just down the road from us, and it stocked Warhammer, and we went in there to see what was what, and I saw that there was an army in purple boxes, which was Dark Elves. I was like, I want Dark Elves. And the only thing I could afford at the time was a Dark Elf Assassin. It was £3, a Dark Elf Assassin. So I bought a Dark Elf Assassin because it was £3. And I love that Dark Elf Assassin. It was my favourite model for a very long time. It got repainted 3 times. I still have it, it's in my cabinet. And its face, because I didn't know about watering paints down. I also didn't know about undercoating. But his face has got so much paint on it that I've painted it like a face mask, because it has no detail on the face. I'll get him out one time. And, when I'm doing Dark Elves, I will, when I'm making my old world Dark Elf army, I'll get him out of the cabinet and show him off in all his thick painted glory. I think the first paint job, when we first started painting, we didn't know about Games Workshop paints. I had some enamel paints from, I don't know, my dad must have given them to me for painting trains or something. Like train set or Airfix, something like that. So I had enamel paints, and so we painted our first models with enamel paints, and that's thick stuff. Or it's only as thick if you don't know anything about. If you're 12 and don't know anything about watering paints down, particularly enamels, which you have to use thinners for. So all of our first models were painted with very thick paint. yeah, I forgot about that. It's a fun trip down memory lane, isn't it? So anyway, he's got 3 layers of paints. I'm sure he's got like 3 layers of paints on it. The first layer of paint is thick enamels. He got a purple cloak. Yeah, he's been through a purple phase, a blue phase, and a black phase. I think. I can't remember which order. Maybe he's in his blue phase currently. When Wartime came out, I got Anur, the Sword of Twilight, because it was free with White Dwarf, and used him as a Dark Elf Assassin. I used him as Shadowblade, so I painted him up to the Shadowblade because there wasn't a Shadowblade model. I loved Shadowblade. He was the best. He was the best, and he's not going to make it into the Old World because he was only 150 years old, and the Old World is set 200 years before. So that is sad. He was a mere youngster. I do have the it'll look like one of the last models I bought before I stopped. I didn't even buy it actually, my wife bought it for me as a birthday present. Was Shadowblade, the plastic Shadowblade, and that was just after I don't know. I certainly wasn't very familiar with what was going on, but I feel like he seemed like one of the first like plastic named characters. Because before that they'd done a few like plastic character kits, like the Orc War Boss on mounted and on boar, and the Empire one. Were they doing? I don't remember them. Yeah, maybe they were doing plastic characters, but I don't remember there being any named characters done in plastic before Shadowblade. But they may well have been. Right, let's do the next layer on the base, because I can see they're still not dry yet. He's still not dry yet. I can't remember which one was the first one. Either way, none of them are dry yet. No, they're all still are a bit wet. So let's do the bony bit on the base. So yeah, so I do have the plastic Shadowblade model that came out, and he's only half built. Why did I never finish building him? I don't know. Because I wasn't playing the game, I guess. Yeah, I wasn't playing Warhammer at the time. So I've never used his mega shiny new model. And I say new loosely. It's like the game died like a decade ago. But he's still new and shiny to me, and he's only half built. That's very sad. Like, Dark Elf Assassins are one of my favourite things. I have got most of the Dark Elf Assassin models that they've released since 5th edition. If not all. I don't know if there might be one that I don't have. I've even got the old Blood Bowl one. Harken something. I don't have any new Dark Elf Assassins. Oh wait, they did do some Dark Elf Assassins at one point, but I'm pretty sure they were just reused. So they brought out, when Blood Bowl was in its kind of living rulebook phase, they brought out a pair of Dark Elf Assassins, but I am almost 100% sure they were actually special characters that got repurposed. So one of them looks like he was going to be Jordell Freshbreeze or something. I think, yeah, Jordell Freshbreeze, and he got repurposed because he looks basically like a wood elf. And I guess the other one would it have been Hubris Rakath? I don't know, maybe. Either way, I'm pretty sure it wasn't initially designed as a Dark Elf Assassin, and yeah, it got repurposed. Be interesting to find out about what happened there. But yeah, I can almost guarantee that that's the case. I know a Dark Elf Assassin when I see one, and it was not a Dark Elf Assassin, but it was sold as one. So there we go, another little fun tidbit for you. consider myself something of a Dark Elf Assassin connoisseur. They did release a Shadowblade model in 7th edition, and I hated it. It was rubbish. Made me really, really sad. And then I was so pleased when I saw the 8th edition one, and then just didn't do anything with it. Half built it. But like I say, I wasn't playing the game at the time, so that'll be why. But I really, really need to finish that. It was such a nice one. Wait, did I finish it? I can't remember now. I feel like I might have taken pity on it one time, not too long ago, and actually finished it. But that may not be the case. So I do have a Shadowblade model. What state it's in, I don't know. It could be half finished, it could be half built or fully built. I don't know. It definitely isn't painted. But it's also definitely beautiful. Dark Elf Assassins. I think since 5th edition, Dark Elf Assassins were wonderful. And Shadowblade in particular. 6th edition, they were meh. 7th edition, they were better, but still a bit meh. 8th edition was cool because you could put one in basically every unit, like Fanatics, I think, if I'm recalling. I never played it, so I'm sure there's loads of people, maybe a ton of people watching who know exactly how Dark Elf Assassins were used in 8th edition. I think I played one 8th edition game. But yeah, so Dark Elf Assassins. What I liked about 8th edition, because I have got the rules, what I did like about 8th edition from scheming with the one game that I played, is that it actually made Dark Elf Infantry interesting. I never really liked the infantry in any of the editions of Fantasy, but in 8th edition they were interesting. I would mainly play with cavalry, so Cold One Riders, Dark Riders, Chariots, Dragons, Pegasus. I never really liked Manticores, but I imagine they could be quite good in this edition because now they give you extra wounds and toughness. That is cool. So yeah, Manticore could be interesting again, but I don't know if I'll take a Manticore over a Dragon. I don't know. I don't really know. I haven't really looked at it too much. I did make a Dark Elf list, like on the day that the PDF came out, and it had a 2,000 point army list. It had 2 dragons, because you could, and that excited me because in like old fantasy you could only take 1 dragon in 2,000 points. So that was cool. So yeah, 2 dragons, 2 hydras, or a hydra and a Charybdis. I've only got 1 Charybdis, otherwise it probably would both be Charybdis, I think, because the Charybdis looked particularly good. So yeah, they're basically the same points anyway. And then like 25 Dark Riders as my core, which could be either 1 unit or 2. They can get like, I'm trying to remember what they can get. They can get Vanguard. Could they take Scouts? I can't remember. Could they take Vanguard? I can't remember. But I think might be able to skirmish and scout. I think that's what it was. Skirmish is new. They've never been able to skirmish before. Or I don't remember if they could in 8th. But in the editions that I've played, they've never been able to skirmish. So skirmish, I'm sure they can skirmish. Now I'm actually questioning it. I mean, I haven't looked at them again really, because I've been focusing on my goblins. I'm mainly interested in the armies that are in the the core armies in Old World rather than the legacy armies. Just for now. Yeah. Why? Why is that the case? Okay, a couple of reasons why. One, I think they're going to be the main races because people aren't going to be able to do much with stuff that they just can't buy. And there's a big, well, it's certainly a deterrent at the moment from playing the legacy factions, because you can't buy the kits. You certainly can't buy them with square bases anyway. I don't imagine that'll change anytime soon. I don't know. Maybe they will. I don't know. They've certainly taken everything down for like Dark Elves or a lot of the factions actually that used to be available, even for AOS. And so I don't really know what's going on there. Whether they're going to repackage some stuff to have round and square bases, or they're just going to expect you to buy square bases. I don't really know what's going on. I need to have a look at the store again. Maybe we should do that. Maybe I should do that as an episode and have a look and speculate and see what's going on with the store. But yeah, so I feel like at the moment they're not encouraging people to use the legacy factions. They're not for use in tournaments. They're not going to be bringing them out anytime soon, even though they probably could. Apart from, wow, I say they probably could. They probably couldn't actually. They're struggling with. I don't know why they're struggling so much with stock. Actually, why are they struggling with stock so much? Yeah, I don't know the answer to that question. But they really have been struggling with stock. For the stuff that is in the core, right? They're struggling with just basic stock. So to think that they're going to do legacy factions, obviously they could. They've got all the molds and stuff for them, but they seem to be quite production constrained. So I can't see them putting any effort into the legacy factions for a long time. I know they've said that they won't, but they definitely will. Like 100%, the legacy factions will come back in full at some point. And they've said things like they'll never be in Warhammer the Old World. Now that could mean that like 2nd edition will be an expansion called Warhammer the New World. And then they can say, see, yeah, we said they weren't going to be in Warhammer the Old World, but they're in Warhammer the New World. So that could definitely be a way around it. And just like essentially emulating Total War, right? Total War came out as just the Old World. Total War 2 came out with the New World. So they could do that approach. Alternatively, they could be like, yeah, we changed our mind. It did far better than we were expecting, and so we just decided we were gonna release them, and that no one will complain at that. So maybe the guy who burnt his Dark Elf army. That's the weirdest thing to do. Why would you set fire to an army? Crazy. Why don't you just sell it? Okay, right. Let's do some red. I've got high hopes for how this red is going to come out. I hope it's not too much of too jarring a jump from the dark to this colour. Look at that! It is a real massive difference, isn't it? Okay, fine. Let's do this. Let us do this. Look at that. It's a massive jump. Oh man, that's such a bright red. Don't like it. It's a really bright red. Did I go too dark? I felt like I didn't go light enough. No, this is very bright. Mephiston red. Should I have bought a darker red? I don't know. I don't know what reds there are. Corn red? Is it corn red? Something like that. But I feel like corn red is basically the colour that I've painted on at the moment. Okay, right. I can't bring myself to go to that red straight from that dark. So, I'm gonna have to mix ourselves another red. Woo! We love mixing colours. I mean, I do love mixing colours. What I don't love is them drying out and having to remix them. That's what I do not love. Okay, that's too much brown. We're looking for a halfway house. That feels kind of halfway. Yeah, that feels halfway. That feels like too much water. Plop. Okay, how does this look? Does this look more appropriate? Yes, it does. Loads better. Right, so I'm just going to leave the main recesses. I don't know what that means. What does that mean? I'm saying words. I don't know what they mean. Yeah, okay, this is good. This is much better. Much better. Yes, I'm leaving any dips. All of the dips must be left at this layer, because I don't want to do lots of layers. Okay, yeah, that's loads better. That is loads better. Whew, crisis averted. I was close. Okay, this is making me feel so much better now. I feel good. I didn't know that I would. So good. So good. Okay. Sorry for that little bit of singing. I don't know how that's going to work with the whatever music I put in the background. Oh, I found some cool battle music for the battle report. So the last battle report, my son told me the music was lame. I had some feedback that the music was good, but I kind of agree. I do want something a bit more battle-esque, and I found a really good quality battle music on YouTube, like on their audio library. However, it's only like a 2-minute clip. So it's going to be repeating a lot, but if I've only got it quiet in the background, it's not like the main feature, then it's literally just some noise going on in the background, so it should be fine. And hopefully you won't notice it looping over and over again. I don't know how long the battle report's going to be. I don't know how long the last one was. Let's see, I quickly scroll down. What's that battle report? 35 minutes. So that's what, 16, 17 times looping it? It's quite a few times to listen to the same bit of music over and over again. But I'm sure it'll be fine. Like I say, it's in the background. You won't even notice it. Ah, yeah, that's good. I'm pleased with how that's coming out. Ah, very good. Now I just have to try and mix this colour again when it runs out, which no doubt will imminently. I also feel like it's drying a bit darker, so maybe the other colour would have been fine. I don't know. But this is actually coming out in a way that means I don't have to take too long on it, because it's almost the colour that I want to finish with, so I just do one more highlight layer and we are good. So good. So good. I need you, Red. Something about that noise I just made reminded me of Ghostbusters. I went to watch the new Ghostbusters at the cinema a couple of days ago. It was good. Did like it. Love a good bit of Ghostbusters. Paul Rudd is a good Ghostbuster. Can't complain. I do like Paul Rudd. I think he's quite likeable. Don't know anyone who doesn't like Paul Rudd, but probably because I've never asked. Yeah, I'm feeling much better about painting these squigs now. I feel like it's not going to take me forever anymore. So that's good, because I was really worried that it would take me a really long time. I'm being a little bit sloppy with painting these, but as I mentioned previously, these are rank and file. I don't want to be spending forever on them. Now, here's the thing that I've heard. Rank and flank. Is that like an American term for rank and file? Because I've never heard. Prior to, I don't know, watching YouTube videos and being on Facebook forum, I've never ever heard of rank and flank. Only rank and file. So I have to assume it's an Americanism. Yeah, I mean, that's all I have to say about that. Genuinely, that's all I have to say about that. I don't even know why I brought it up. All that to say, it's a term that I've never heard before in all my time playing rank and file games. I say rank and file games, literally just Warhammer. I'm not that cultured. Okay, that's good. It looks very basic now. Like that. The red's actually dried a lot darker than I anticipated. But that's fine. Okay, yeah, I'm pleased with that. Because I could, if I wanted to, which I don't, but I could leave it like that and it would look fine. Maybe I should. I totally should. But I don't think I'm going to. Is this exactly the same one? No, it's not the same one. Is it the same one? No. It's just that leg. It's the same leg. Now I kind of want to try out Squig herds. It just means painting more Squigs. I mean, painting Squigs is fine. But yeah, now I don't know how to run them, because you could run them like, I think it's 1 herder for every 5 Squigs. So you could run them minimum Squig herders to maximum Squigs, min-max that way. Or you go the other way and have like, so I think it's, yeah, like a unit of 5 and 1 Squig herder. So you could take like the 5 Squigs and 15 Squig herders, right? Because the herders are dirt cheap. And when the unit gets shot, like, it's more likely you have to randomize the hit. I think you have to randomize hits. Oh, no, I don't know. I assume you have to randomize the hits. Do you have to randomize hits? So they're a motley crew, I guess, because they've got different types of guys in a unit. How do you do a motley crew? Do you just get to kill whoever? Like, can you just lose whoever you want to lose? Either way, there's an argument to be made that you want lots of goblins, so that as the unit gets shot, the goblins die instead of the Squigs. And then when you get into combat, the Squigs, you haven't paid loads of points for expensive Squigs to just be shot, basically, because they're as feeble as a goblin when it comes to getting shot. They've got no armor, they're toughness 3. They are glass cannons. They do loads of damage. They may even have 2 attacks or something stupid. But they're just as feeble as a goblin when it comes to being hurt. So there's an argument to be made, which is take loads of goblins. I learned this off a mate many years ago, back in 6th edition. And he basically took they were just spearman units with 5 Squigs at the front and used them as Squig heads. And I thought it was genius. Because back in the day, you bought a Squig herd and it was a blister pack. And you got 3 Squigs and 2 Squig herders wielding a mega trident thing. I did have some out not too long ago, but I've put them away now. So the assumption just was, like, basically in 5th edition, is that Squig herds were just, well, certainly for a kid who didn't know anything about it and just saw what came in the blister pack and what was in the pictures in the book, the assumption was that a Squig herd was 2 goblins and 3 Squigs, and that was a Squig herd. Maybe you could. I do not remember 5th edition. I lent my 5th edition Orc and Goblin book to someone ages ago and never gave it back. Sometimes. There we go. So I don't know what the rules were in 5th edition for making Squig units. But in 6th edition, you have the freedom to put however many Squigs and however many goblins you wanted in it. There might have been a minimum number of goblins per Squig, but there certainly wasn't a maximum. Just like in this. So you can go lots of Squigs, only a few goblins, or you can go lots of goblins and only a few Squigs. You're free to do that. So yeah, obviously if you buy the Squig herd, the Games Workshop Gloomspite gets Squig herd, you only get two herders and 10 Squigs. So that's the ratio. But you can have as many herders as you like. You don't have to be limited to like the 2. So you could, and this is what I'm tempted to do, is use a unit of Night Goblins and just arm them up, like just spears or something, without the shields and use them as squig herders. You could do that. Or even just hand weapons, because you don't have to give herders spears as an option. And don't know if I would bother with spears. Herders. The goblins aren't going to do any damage in combat. They don't do much, not compared to the squigs. With 2 strength 5 attacks. I mean, that's cool. That's a good amount of damage. I think that's this guy done. And around his face. Am I leaving too much dark? Should I be doing bigger blocks like this? I feel like I probably should. I don't know. We'll find out. I definitely do that sometimes and leave too much dark. And it provides too much contrast and then just looks a bit naff. But I think it looks fine. This guy's all dry now. Yeah, he looks alright. Okay. Oops. Where to start? Blah. There we go. Started there. Oh, I hope the background music is good. Because currently I'm sitting here in silence. I imagine that would not be enthralling. So yeah, hopefully you've got some good music to listen to. on the music front, I am just using whatever free music I can get from YouTube. So I don't really know how the licensing works on YouTube. I get the impression that if I was to put anything other than like the free stuff from YouTube, that it would get taken down. So if I put, someone mentioned using Shadow the Horned Rat music, but I don't know what the rules are around it, and I don't really want to go through the hassle of having a video taken down and having to redo it because of music issues. I'd much rather just pick something from YouTube's audio library that I know is fine, stick that on. So that's what's going to be happening. So that is what you'll be hearing right now. There's something that's a freebie off YouTube. And hopefully it's good. Hopefully you like it. It's probably not going to be the battle music there. Save that. Save that bad boy for the battle reports. And like I mentioned, it's only 2 minutes long, so you would definitely be bored of it by now. At least the battle report's only a half-hour video. Oops, more about that. I actually have no idea how long the video is going to be. I haven't recorded it yet. But I would imagine it's going to be similar to in length to the previous one. That's as much of an indicator as I've got, at least. I just had a really random thought. Like, could you use AI to design Warhammer models? I imagine the answer is yes. STLs made by AI. I mean, if it can do images in 3D, not 3D, photos and videos, then I'm sure it can do 3D at some point. Not that I really need to be doing that, but it's just a random thought. It's quite a niche market to get into. But imagine the speed you could generate STLs to sell to people. Oh. Ouch. There we go. Alright, so I've managed to do 3 before my paint ran out. Mix some more up. That's the 3 I've done. Painted. Yeah, these are looking good. I'm pleased with how they're coming out at the moment. So, they feel hard to see on the screen, but this is me standing up trying to look at them. But they look good in real life. The reels. There's my paint. Here it is. Good, that's basically the same colour, possibly slightly darker, but it will probably do. I definitely don't want it any darker than it was previously. Need to try and not mix that brown in. Oh, it's a little bit translucent as well, actually. So that's going to make it a bit darker. But possibly put too much water in. Well, never mind. Can be slightly darker squigs. Is that going to be too dark? There's a good chance that's going to be too dark. I don't know, whatever. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. I think what I could do with it is like a list of conversations, questions from people to answer. Like Blue Peter style. Little Jimmy from Arizona asks this. And here's the answer to your question, Little Jimmy. I don't know why I said Arizona. Literally first place that popped into my head. Clearly I live in the UK. I have no idea. I mentioned Blue Peter, which is like, I don't know if people who aren't in the UK even know what Blue Peter is. I've got no idea. Is it famous? Is it not? And also, like most kids in the UK these days, have got no idea what Blue Peter is. So, I've got no hope, really. Now I'm wondering why Blue Peter was called Blue Peter. Who was Peter? Why was he blue? So many questions. Mystery. It won't be solved until I have access to Google and I'm also remembering that was a question I cared about. Which is very unlikely will ever happen. It's not like I don't have access to Google right now, but I'm busy painting and it's taking far too long to faff about Googling Blue Peter. Yeah, I feel like either there's too much brown in this or it's too watery because it's certainly not as bright as that. Dope. Like wasting my time. Well, I'll finish this one and then I'll add some more red to the mix before I do the next squig. I don't even know which bits I painted anymore. It's all the same. Yes, this is the guy with the bone showing through. Skull face. Skull face? Does he even get a name? He's a squig. The squigs get names. Night Goblin probably has a name for him. But it's probably something like Dave. And not Scarface. Or Cuddles. Squiggles. Right, let's add a smidge of red to this mix. That's not a smidge. That's rather a lot. That is rather a lot. Now I feel like I've gone in the opposite direction. Too far. Too far. Unless it dries dark, which I'm not convinced it does. I don't know. Yeah, it looks too... See, what's going to happen now is I'm going to put some brown in, and then it's going to be too thick, and then I'm going to water it down, and then it's going to be thin enough to dry dark. But I'm doing it anyway. Well, I say oh well, like I don't care, but I do care. I care so much. Yeah, this feels a lot brighter than the last one. Please dry dark. That looks so much better than that. I hope it dries dark. complete opposites to each other. This one's basically got no difference between the layer I just put on and the layer underneath, and this one's got, you know, like almost cartoonishly contrast. Not quite, not as bad as obviously the first attempt I did on my first Squig, which I just used the pure red. But it looks doesn't look ideal, I don't think. But maybe it'll look better when it's dry. I don't know what I'll do after I've done the Squig. So I've got this unit, the War Boss on Squig, and the Mangler Squigs. So the question is, do I increase the army to like 1500 points, or do I do something like my Bretonnians? Do the 500 point army Bretonnians. Quite tempted by that. What would I put in this army next? Oh yeah, I did say I was going to do pump wagons and the Doom Diver. Okay, maybe I do. I put 500 points. Doom Diver, pump wagons. The pump wagon, the metal one, is going to be an absolute pain to put together. I feel like it needs lots of pins. That's going to take ages to do. Okay, I think it's drying a bit darker, so maybe that's okay. Sounds good. Makes me happier. Whether it's dark enough or not, something else, but yeah, okay. Less unhappy about that than I was a minute ago. That's good. Enough to probably just add some water to this lot and carry on. Right, two left. Let's do this one, I think. Oh, I didn't do this guy's face. Or around his... yeah. Kind of want to do around the horn, but I've got too much on my brush and it's too wet. I'm doing it anyway. 5 done. 2 to go. He definitely is brighter than the others, all of the others. My son was so impressed with how the pillar of fire looked in our game that he wants to make a fireball model for our photos, because he thinks it'll look epic, and it will look epic. Whether he actually makes one or not is something else though. I'm pretty sure I can't be bothered to make one, because they don't actually serve a purpose except for photos. It's not like you need a template for Fireball. He just likes the idea of having an actual fireball visible in photos of his wizard burning my guys, which happens far too frequently for my liking. But as long as fireball remains a really, really good spell, it's going to continue happening. And I can't imagine they'll change it anytime soon. Unless it's clearly overpowered and breaking the game. Which, I mean, it may well be. The fact that everybody wants to take Ruby Ring of Ruin leads me to believe it is broken. Not just Ruby Ring of Ruin, but Fireball in general. I reckon the first fix will be changing the price of Ruby Ring of Ruin. I think either they should do what I said earlier, which is make it D3 plus 3 strength 4 hits, and then it'll be a perfectly fine spell, or up the casting value and up the cost of the Ruby Ring of Ruin. It definitely feels like the easiest thing would be to just change the amount of damage it does, amount of hits. It feels like an easy change. No one will really complain because it's still good. 4 to 6 strength 4 hits. I would still take that attack, that spell. So, yeah. And I'd probably still buy the Ruby Ring of Ruin at 30 points. So if that's the case, I mean, that nerf should happen really. It just stops it being an auto-include, the Ruby Ring of Ruin, and just makes it, well, just makes it worth it, but just not an auto-include. I even gave it to my chapter master in the game that we played yesterday. He died turn 1 without being able to use it. But the point is, I bought it just because I couldn't find anything better to do with my points. So that's not great, is it? I might. Yeah, I think there's a good chance that after I've painted the red, the next layer of red, I will wrap this video up because my back is starting to hurt. No, I don't think I can do much more. I don't know how long this has been going because I paused the video earlier. I can't remember how long through. Let's conservatively estimate we were half an hour into the video earlier, and we're now on this clip, we're 2 hours in. Obviously I'm going to combine them, so when I say 2 hours now, you'll look at it and be like, we're not 2 hours in, we're further in than that. So yeah, this is quite a long video already. I still got that good to paint. So I think that yeah, I don't know if my back is gonna handle doing much more than finishing the red on the squigs today. And we'll do probably be able to finish them in the next episode. So I think this will be a two episode series painting these guys. And if you include the building, that makes them 3, and the teeny tiny video of me receiving the package and opening it. That's full video series. I will be very pleased to have these guys painted though, because they've just been sitting there looking at me going, Luke, why haven't you painted us? Oh, yeah, I don't think I've mentioned that before. My name's Luke. There you go. Okay. Cool, that's that guy done. And then last one. How does this one look now it's drying? It looks absolutely fine. Don't know what I was complaining about. Alright, good to know that red dries darker than you think. A bit late to know that now. I've added some more brown, but that actually came out perfectly fine. There was nothing wrong with that, which means, I don't know, everything's just going to be drying loads darker than I need it to be, which means probably this. I don't know if this is going to be the right colour over the top. I don't know. If it dries darker, then maybe it'll be fine. Should be fine. another sign that the video shouldn't last much longer because my phone has run out of battery. Just came up with the low battery warning. I wonder how much has been uploaded. 50% of the Canon video. So yeah, so I needed a cannon for my Empire army. I think I might have mentioned that in a video I made the other day, working out my army list for our game. That I was going to paint a cannon, so it got painted, and that's the video that's being uploaded. Which will definitely be uploaded by the time you see this video.